Happy Thursday again, you guys. Thank you for joining me. This is take 3. I am going to get rid of take 1 and 2. All right, so we figured out what the issue was, and it is being fixed right now. So we're going to give a few moments before my guest, Nik Wood, jumps on. I'm going to introduce introduce again Nik, and just tell a little background of how I met. It is on Facebook. I seen him through a post with somebody else on there, and like I was saying, his smile radiated my phone, and so I sent a request and kind of been following him since then. At the time, he was in Bali, and in Bali, taking part of different groups and meditations and different things that he was involved with. He had an accident. I remember seeing the accident and people posting and asking to send energy and healing, and for his healing process, and watching him go through his healing process. Like, he literally allowed us into his life to see this process. I don't think that's what his intention was. He was just posting. And the people around him was posting out of love, and to see him express love, knowingness, just everything that we've been practicing, he was actually embodying it and practicing it and doing it. I thought it was so inspiring. And so naturally, since I am meeting with so many of my friends out here in the Facebook world, land across the world, I asked Nick to come on and share some of his journey and also some of the projects that he's involved with, because I know it is a healing process that all of us are going together. And like I said, we are gathering together our spiritual superheroes. Nick is definitely one of those in my eyes, and I asked him to come on and share. There he goes. Let's see. Now it should be. I'm going to breathe and send it. Energy. Okay. Let's see. It didn't work. Okay, Nick, I see your comment. I see you on here. If you're on your phone, it should be easy to send a request. Okay, let's try. Do you see on the bottom where it has like icons? There's like a person and a person in a frame. If you click on there, do you see says request to go on camera? Oh, there you go. All right, so I see you popped up. And there it goes. And here we go. All right, drum roll. Those who are joining me later and those who are joining me now, thank you again. I'm about to bring my friend Nik Wood on. Drum roll. And it's going to work. All right, it's adding. We're going to give it a few moments to come on, pop up. All right, for those of you guys who are joining me right now, we're just waiting a few moments. The Facebook ad on, sometimes it takes a little time and loads. It does show that he is loading, that it's adding. Excuse me. Okay, no answer. What? We're both right here. Okay, let's try that again and see. Nope, now it's not even popping up on there. Nick, if you can see it again and send a request one more time. I have, okay. Drum roll. And it worked. Oh, I love it. 3 times. 3 times. It usually takes 3 times. Yes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Let me see if I can get some more light real quick.
The smile, it radiates the whole room. It radiates your whole phone, or wherever you're watching that. Your smile radiates. Thank you for taking time. I know that you're busy too, so I appreciate you taking time to come on. This is our first time actually seeing each other.
It is. Yeah. Hello. I'm doing well today. I'm doing very well. Yeah. This was funny. I have like a whole setup with lights and everything on my laptop. I haven't done one of these in a long time.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's changing. I didn't realize how long lives have been a thing. It's over like 5 years or whatever that people's been doing live, but I just like it's recently coming back a thing, I guess now too. And now they've made it where you can put your lives on YouTube, so that's been pretty awesome. Right? So when the people miss it, but
You used to have to use an outside app to have two people. And
yeah,
so this is new for me. Like you said, I had an accident, so it was a little bit out of practice.
yeah, I wanted you to go ahead first, introduce yourself, and then we can kind of just get into your journey.
Sure. So I am Nik Wood. I am a speaker, a coach, a facilitator. Um, yeah, that's who I am. So I have an idea of what I want the world to look like, and that's what I'm working towards. And those are all methods to get me to that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was saying, and so when I first met you, and I'm sure your journey started way before Bali, but that's where I met you, and you're part of your journey. What were you doing in Bali at the time, or for how long were you there for?
I was there for 5.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was there originally because I needed my hand held stepping into coaching again.
Oh,
I had coached years before, but to step back into coaching and to launch my podcast. So at that point, I only knew one person who did those things. Now it feels like my whole world is people who do those things.
yes.
So I reached out to that one person. She said that she was running a retreat in Bali, that I should come. So I went and never left.
Those are sometimes the best stories ever. They're the unexpected, like, oh, this is a whole new switch of world now for me. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so at the time, I was learning so much about Bali, and it seemed like every spiritual retreat was meeting there. Everybody who had any type of retreat or whatever was like in Bali. That's the spiritual place to be. Um, and so when I seen you there, it seemed like you fit right in with everybody else. And then shortly you had an accident. Are you okay to talk about that a little bit about what happened in
Yeah.
with your accident? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
Totally.
you could
I
talk a little bit. Yeah, I see
So
it.
can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at a breathwork workshop, and we had barely started. So I don't want to it's not the breathwork's fault. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah.
I closed my eyes. I'd done a bunch of days of this through the month, and I've done breathwork before. I was with Wim Hof's brother, and closed my eyes, standing on a yoga mat, and opened my eyes a week later in the hospital. So at some
Wow.
point, apparently the first 90 seconds of the session, I crossed the room and hit my head on a post, on like a support pillar. And it wasn't in the direction of the bathroom. I don't know what I was doing. Some people said I looked like I wanted to throw up. I was
Yeah.
feeling fine going in. So um, the funny thing is that the last thought that I had before it happened was, I've really been enjoying this breath work, but I haven't had the life-changing breakthrough I wanted to have yet. So I'm committed to having that today.
I'm laughing now because I can, but wow, what the universe
Yeah,
says, I got your back.
yeah. I mean, the universe just keeps saying yes, right?
Yeah,
And
yes, you're right.
so,
Yeah.
so that's what was happening. It said, yes, you can have the life-changing breakthrough now. So it's fun in the intro where you said that it seemed like I never stopped smiling. Because I've had a lot of dark moments in my life where the smile didn't feel as accessible. But with this, I woke up with gratitude and I had responsibility, because even though other people were saying, oh, was it a dark spirit? Like, was this, was that? Was it food poisoning? Like, is the breathwork's fault? Trying to find whose fault it was. For me, I thought, well, I'm alive. My little
Yeah.
brother flew from Canada, and he was the first person I saw. And he works with autistic children, and he has a psych degree. And he did an amazing job of just catching me. So I woke up, and he had this really soothing presence. and had it all taken care of. So I was okay.
Yeah.
So it was head trauma that didn't turn into trauma,
Oh,
if that makes sense.
so powerful.
And so I'm incredibly grateful. I think other people around me actually were more traumatized by the experience than I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I talk about that a lot too. Like sometimes the person or situation that we look at as something as bad or, unwanted, whatever word you want to feel, or feeling it's not something that you want happening. It happens for that reason, for sometimes not just that one person that was involved, but thousands and millions around. Because imagine, here I am in my Florida, you're going through that, and that experience was affecting me in the sense of, like I said, watching you had a smile on your face. Now listen, I've gone through some stuff too, and people says, how do you keep so happy? And they don't know their moments. It's not always all happy, right? There are moments it's not always all happy. But the outcome. Something probably that kept that on your face was that you went in that day saying, excuse me, I want that change now. That change is going to happen today. And so it started happening for you. But also that you came out of it, that is not something that you usually keep as your topic. I just brought that up. That is not something, because some people go through something tragic and they kind of play the tragic of that for the rest of their lives. And so
Sure.
watch it, yeah. And I understand that, but I also see where that can keep them in that loop. And that is not something that you talk about much. I wanted to bring that up, and that's why I asked, are you okay with it? And so that right there, I think, is so powerful too, because like I said, people in tragedy or tragic situations repeat that over and over until that, like, they embody that. And so you made a choice not to do that.
Yes. Whether I made the choice specifically with this experience or just in general.
In
Right?
general.
So we have Larissa here commenting. Hi, Larissa. And
Yes.
one of the things she wrote was the word trauma, and people reliving the same hurt again and again and again. So one of the things that happened right before my injury, so 2 months before my injury, was I did a huge trauma release. I was going through an experience of researching and educating myself on what trauma was. And so I had this huge experience where I felt different.
Yes.
And so what's been fascinating for me was having this accident. Well, it was a distraction. I didn't get to integrate the trauma release the way that I wanted to. But as I healed physically from this, I started to see I wasn't the same internally. And so that's been the process for me. It's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and 3/4 maybe since my accident. So not that long.
Yeah.
But it's how I like to say is I'm not so much recovering as I am discovering who I now am.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the opportunity, and that is more what I talk about. So how to discover who you now are. Right? If you didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
I wrote this in one of my stories today. If you didn't know who you were supposed to be based on your past, who would you choose to be?
Oh, yes. It's a
and
choice.
So I feel it is
a choice. It is a choice. And
yeah.
That's what I was getting to, is like, because that's what it is for me. It's that it's not something that just like, it's a choice regardless. Either way you choose it, whether you choose to repeat it or whether you choose to heal it. One of the things that you just said, I think I also talk about a lot with my experience was, now we have this terminology where we're saying awaken, right? But I believe that our stages of being aware and being aware of more than, we've been told, has always been happening, but there's a point, and it's usually something traumatic that shakes that out of you. So we've always been in preparation with the learning. Like you just said, you had a trauma class before you actually went through this. It prepared you for it. Like, we're always being prepared. Abraham Hicks says, always be ready to be ready to be ready. And that's part of that. It's like always being ready, because you're always being guided to what you're going to need now and for what you're going to need with whatever is coming up as well. Like, go ahead.
No, I just think it's really funny because so like my brand is called Life Athletics, or one of my brands, right? So the idea looking at life like it's a game or a sport, and then what's a win for you. But one of the things for me, and I talk about this sometimes, is my concept of it is similar to CrossFit for life. So CrossFit, like if we take apart some of the competition, but what it was designed to be is for general physical preparedness. Can you meet life physically as it shows up? Not knowing what's going to show up.
Yeah.
So not being a specialist, but a high level generalist. And so when I talk about life athletics, is like, are you ready to have the impact you want to have in the world? Are you ready to have the relationship you want, the money that you want? And I'm not saying to wait, but all we can do is prepare ourselves and meet life.
Yeah.
And so I really love that you brought that up for me, Abraham.
Larissa said sitting. It's just like she said, sitting in the void.
Yeah.
I think, just sitting there. Are you ready to meet? And sometimes it takes that sitting moment for you to define that also. I think that moment. So one of my awakening moment was when my daughter, she was 2 years old. She was diagnosed with cancer, and I had been preparing, not realizing that that's what it was. By the book, Conversation with God came across my path. And at the time, I was very much involved in the church and, and everything else that the church represent. That had shook my world up a lot, so that when I went into the hospital dealing with the situation that was going on, what I learned was happening all around me, showing me evidence of what I had learned. So it shook me up to decide to say, am I going to continue to live in this box, or am I going to choose to see that God is way more out of, there's not even a box or anything. There's no containers. And so I chose that. And I chose that, I chose to awaken and let that come out of me. So that reminds me also, like I said, we're always being prepared for what's coming next. What's coming next with you? I know that awoken up something in you, that you felt a passion to help other people remember, because I believe that we're all reminders of a spiritual superhero team, I call it. And what has passion inside of you that you want to now share with other people, to share that love, that wisdom, everything that you've learned?
So I love that, the spiritual superhero team.
Yeah.
You can see I like the
Yeah,
superheroes.
oh, you do. I do too.
Yeah, I heard that in the intro, and I was gonna just put, like, set up my phone in front of this white wall, but I thought I would angle the superheroes. Okay, so my vision with my coaching program, what I talk about is having people get on their path and actively leveling up towards their full yes life. It's not about perfection. It's about knowing where you want to go and taking the steps.
Yeah.
Again, it's the intersection between the sphere of interest and the sphere of influence. So we can have interest that's expansive, but maybe what we can influence is smaller. And so that's where we need to work, right? And we can maybe move and impact that. But what I'm starting to realize is that as a species, we're operating the same way that an individual does who doesn't have clear goals and is carrying trauma. And so my interest right now is in the micro, the individual, and the macro, our species. And so I've been formulating, like, I have my coaching program and methodology and how I do that with individuals. And I've been building a concept and a structure for how that might look globally. And so that's a huge leap for me to go from relative obscurity. I mean, some people know who I am, and then, other areas, crickets. And so that's fine. But to go from there to basically saying, as a unified human collective, what do we want? And like, really, what do we want? Not coming from old wounds, not just like slight fixes, but if we could make the divine proud, if we can make the divine inside of us proud, right? So Marianne Williamson says it really beautifully. She says, we're here to make manifest the glory of God that's inside of us. It's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we give ourselves permission to be, we unconsciously give others permission to do so as well.
Yes.
And so that essentially is what I want for humanity, is for all of us to make manifest the glory of God that's inside of us.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not religious, so like personally, I might say spirit or like our highest, like whatever.
Get it.
I'm not as attached to the language.
Yes.
All I know is that we know it when we're there. Even the staunchest atheist knows when they're clicked in to that space. You can call it flow.
Whatever. The terminology.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I know that I can help individuals get there, I believe that we could all get there on the planet.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love that, because one of the best ways to actually to be a leader is to actually embody that, right? And not the word again, the leader, but to be able to teach even somebody something, is that you have to embody that teaching yourself. That's what makes people draw and says, hey, you're not just talking about it, you're being about it. And to give that space for people to see you being. I think that's what's important. I'm realizing a lot of the people that I have on healers, whatever form they take on, coach, whatever form of healing, is that they're giving people a space. And that's what we're moving into now. It's like we've learned all this knowledge, we understand all this knowledge, and now for us to embody all the understanding and learning that we've put in, and a lot of healers are standing in the space saying, okay, I give you this space for you to be completely yourself so that you can be, like you said, and then whatever form of healing takes part in the core. And one of the things I was saying to someone that has been on here also is that it doesn't matter for me, what I'm realizing, if you start, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, whether it be something spiritual, all of it's spiritual to me. So it doesn't matter where you start. Once you start working on that one place, it's like domino effect. It takes a domino effect and everything else starts to take its course also. So all spiritual, physical, and mental line up. Right. And so I love that you're giving people, and so it's men or women, right? You don't have a specific either that can come to.
And thank you for asking, because I do facilitate men's groups, so a lot of people think that I work primarily with men.
Yes, yeah.
Sure, but a lot of my clients are women, and yeah, I love also when you said that you see everything as spiritual, because I'm not religious, but my grandparents were very religious on both sides, and one of the things that I found fascinating was this idea of the omnipresence of God. Now, I think they were like, God is always watching you, be careful.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I took it as was, oh, God is in this air conditioner remote.
Yeah.
Right? God is in my bracelets. God is in me. God is in you. God is in the floor. If we start to, and I can't hold on to that all the time, but it's a practice of finding the divine in existence.
Yeah.
And so I really love that. I totally agree. Be in any process. So how I like to say it is, I'm about purpose, not procedure. So how you get there isn't as important to me. Just get there. Yeah. And some methods are more effective than others.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. Yes. And then some people are on different levels. So all the levels are, all of it's important. That's why I said it doesn't matter to me. Like I've had, EFT coaching, Reiki healers, chefs, it doesn't matter what aspect you hit of this. And that's why my platform, I have it open, not just for people who are in a spiritual direction or calling, but people who have just regular, any kind of jobs, because everything connects, everything is spiritual. And what we are realizing right now in this team that we're building, it is going to affect the whole world, but our focus is not the whole world. It's just right in your area, because that affects more. And then guess what? There's a whole lot more of us out there. So as we're holding hands, we're going to link up with our team, with our tribe, and we're going to affect or infect that part of the world that we need to, right? Those who are drawn to us, our tribe will be drawn to us. We don't have to try to reach and get everybody to love us or to be superheroes to everybody. We don't have to save everybody. Again, I'm quoting Abraham Hicks again. What I love when I really understood that we're not here doing what we do because they need us. No one needs what we have. I don't care what you're offering. We're doing what we do because it ignites a passion within you and you love doing it. You know what I mean? So there, people don't need counseling. People, we're all going to be on the journey, and at the end, we all sweat back to the same source. So we don't need what you are offering, but you're offering because you're in a space of love. I've learned this, I've mastered this art, and I want to give this back to you. And it makes me happy to see you heal using it, whatever the tool is that you're offering. And that's where my passion comes from. So, like, I love seeing when people have a vibration switch and they get something, but I know people don't need me to give them that switch. They're going to get it regardless. And so when we move in that space, I love doing this. I love doing this. That draws more people to us. Not, you know, that's not the whole purpose and everything. But so here we are holding each other's hands, building our spiritual superheroes. How can people reach out to you? And why would someone say, I love what he's doing. I want to know more. How can he help me in my life? Tell me some of the things that you do to help people and how they can reach out to you.
Sure. I feel like we just scratched the surface. It's so much fun. On Instagram, Nik Wood, Nikwood.world.
Yeah.
And my website's the same thing. Also, lifeathletics.com. I have a podcast with 200 plus episodes called the Life Athletics Podcast.
Yeah. I want to hear. Will you put the links to all those? I have them also. But if you put the links in them, I'm also going to, like I said, make this into a YouTube video. So I'm going to put your links there too so people know how to find you. But if you can put them in the bottom of the comments of this video when we're finished, that would be awesome so people can find you right away. They don't have to go looking. And your name, his name is tagged on the top of it so you can also find him on his Facebook there. And then what are some of the reasons, like I was saying, someone says, I need help in this direction, whatever it is. What would be a reason, or what are some of the reasons people reach out to you for?
Sure. So, yeah, I'm a life coach, not just a relationship coach, or like there are a lot of things that I've coached people through that I'm not an expert in. What we do is we create a vision that I call a horizon vision. Mm-hmm. So as far as you can see from where you are, what would be your horizon goal? What would be your horizon life? And then who is the version of you that would naturally be living that? Mm-hmm. And then what we start to do is have a conversation around what is the difference between where you are and that. And I have people start being that. So through that, people have found the loves of their lives. They've transformed their bodies. They've started multi-million-dollar companies. They have found access to a new way of being. Yeah. And so the kind of person, and I struggle sometimes, people like, find your avatar, like how old are they? I've worked with a range of people. But basically, they have to be ready to level up and let go of the familiar, and that can feel threatening sometimes. Yeah. So that's a huge part of what I do. Also, we have these men's groups, and I've been talking about doing either a version for women, but I feel weird running a women's group. Just yeah. Yeah, but women have asked, like, if we had a group for women, just like the men's one. So that's been in the back of my mind. The only reason it doesn't exist is the part of me that's like, like, how does that feel? But yeah, there's other things in the works. So yeah, keep following me on Instagram. And
yes, I know. I plan on it. What you were just saying about the women's group, though, you said that, and I feel like there will be a woman can join in with you, whether partner or friend or business partner or spiritual partner, to help make that a possibility, because I love that there's more men's group now as well, right? There's always women have been gathering together. I know men has too, but been gathering together for a long time, and we're going to continue. Yeah. And that's what empowers us too. And I feel like men are starting to recognize, because men would get together and have the masculine energy, but now they're embodying the feminine energy together as a man group, which is strengthening even more, right? Bringing the balance to the men, masculine and feminine.
That's what this represents for me.
Wow.
Is that that woman part of me.
Yes.
And
Oh,
yeah.
that's gorgeous. Ah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. So, okay. So I love that you're doing that. Yeah. But I think that that part will play a part. But in the meantime, so you do have some men group that you do participate or get together with, or?
Yeah, we have three. They're all on Monday. So I'm currently leading three every Monday from different time zones. So we have in Europe and Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that region. Then we have Eastern time zone and Western time zone, Pacific.
Okay.
And so
are you doing it online and stuff now too?
that's all on Zoom right now.
It's online
because of the way the world's been, and
yeah.
but it works
the
because we
era
have people
we're moving into, so I think that seems natural.
Yeah.
That way.
The one in Bali, we started in Bali, and that one's still running. I left 3 people in charge of that one when I left, and that's still going, which is cool.
Yeah.
And we'll probably end up doing live versions as the world starts opening up again. But
yes, Timothy's asking for the link. Timothy, he is going to put all the links to everything he's involved in on the bottom down here. Yeah. And
with the men's group, Timothy, just message me, because like we're building out the website right now, so it's
yeah, and your podcast, what do you have? What is there? What's going on with your podcast? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I used to be a sports writer for a little while, and so with this idea of life as a sport, I interview people who are high performers in some area of life. Now, that's not always the way that a lot of people talk about high performers. Sometimes it's someone who's an amazing parent. It's someone who's just has the world's biggest level of empathy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've also interviewed Olympians and NBA All-Stars and top-level executives. So there's a range, but I interview them like they're a high-performing athlete in a way that if I interviewed a tennis player, a skier could get value on how to be a better skier.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's transferable. So that's what the point of the podcast is, to hear someone who is clear in what they're up to, doing a great job at it, and then hopefully the listeners can take value.
That's awesome, because that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say we are building our team and holding each other's hands, because we're all in it for the same reasons and purpose. Because this is the reason I started doing this and use this platform was, I said, why don't I get a hold of people? Like I said, it doesn't matter what field that you are in, but something that you're loving, that you're doing and spending your time and your passion in. As a matter of fact, Timothy's going to be on tomorrow because he is developing some of his passions too that are coming out now, and develop these passions and I'm sorry. So I created this platform because I wanted people to talk about what they're doing, what they're passionate about. If they had any projects going on, just talk about your journey, because like Larissa's even been saying, she's been getting value. She's like, how did you know? Like, she needed to hear whatever she heard from us today. And I know how that feels. And so I wanted to create that space to be able to do that too. So people can just hear from your journey, use something that's going on with them right now to make a decision to move in a different direction, if that's not the direction that they're choosing, or wanting to go into. And so we're creating this space, and I love sharing this platform, this space with you. I appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything else that you want to leave? A word of wisdom, anything that you want to share? Something comes to mind?
What comes to mind? Like I said, my mission is to live into a world where everyone is firmly on their path and actively leveling up to their fullest life. So if you don't feel like you're on your path, please allow yourself to get on it. Yeah. You don't have to be at the end. Just get on your path, actively start leveling up. I think the world will transform as we all do that.
I agree with you. Nik, thank you so much for coming and spending time with us and sharing your energy. If you would share your information, how people can reach out to you. Like I said, I'm going to continue following you and get inspiration from you. You're not under any pressure, though. It's okay to mess up.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was thinking that today. Like, you're talking about embodying. Like, I was out kayaking for a few hours in the sun. I've been on client calls through the day. Yeah. And I woke up at 4 yesterday to look at the lunar eclipse. So I feel like I look like I'm exhausted. But that's okay. I can still show up.
Well, you know
And
what? Since you shared that with me, I got off of work and I was like, I'm just gonna lay here. I have an hour till it's time to get on Nick. I'm going to lay here for a half an hour. I can usually tell my mind to be an alarm clock, and I do. I was like, oh my God, it's 10 minutes till 7, and I'm like, I look sleepy. My daughter's like, Mom, you're okay. Just go ahead and go. I was like, oh my God, okay. But we're here and we did it.
yeah,
And creating that space for people to be authentic and be here. I think no matter which way you're healing, you're helping aid people or remind people. It's giving them that space to do that. And like I said, we're doing it. They see us, authentically doing it. It's the perfect example.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
perfect example of not needing to be perfect. I love it.
Take so much relief off. All right. I love you, my friend. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, everybody who has joined us, who will be watching this later. Nick has all his information on hand. If you catch this on YouTube, his information is also on the bottom on the link. I appreciate you, my friend. You have a blessed evening. We'll talk again soon. If you have anything else that you want to share with us, just let me know. You come back on. Okay?
Will do. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Blessings.
Blessings.
All right. After each one, I have to express my gratitude for you guys participating with me in this space that like we've created, that we said that people can learn from each one of our journeys. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything is going to bring you back to spirit. Everything is bringing back to the core of something bigger than us, however you call that. And one of the things, there's so many of the things that Nick said that I love and that I'm going to keep referring to everybody that comes on here, is that we are building a team of super spiritual superheroes. And I love each one of us. I love each one of what we do, because it's something in your journey that caused you to ignite a passion. And every healer, every one of us are healers. Every one of us are what the other is doing. It's just that some people ignite that passion according to their journey even more within them. And then they want to share that. And I feel it's not much more of a teaching, but a reminder. I think I read that in Neil Donald Walsh's book also, where he said that like we're all reminding each other of things that we already internally know. And so thank you for helping me remind others, for reminding me by sharing your journey. I love and appreciate you guys. Like I said, tomorrow I have amazing guests on Saturday. So join me to see who is coming on my All Things Possible. I actually will post it tonight. Timothy will be one of them. I have Lori in Hawaii that's going to be with us. And tonight I will be guest showing up on Elijah's show. So if you're around, catch that one also. All right, guys, have a blessed Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me again.